It's Friday. It's 8:38. It means we're joined by the one and only Bret Baier, anchor of Special Report on Fox News Channel, weekdays every day at 6 p.m. Hey, Bret, good morning.
Good morning.
So Edward Snowden seems to have his asylum at least for a year now in Russia. He's flashing his Russian passport now, and he's able to renew it a year from now. Jay Carney says that they're deeply disappointed about this, and he stressed the fact that they had privately made overtures to Russia asking them not to do this. The fact that Russia has granted Edward Snowden asylum now, has this raised this whole story up to an international incident?
Yeah, I think it was already there, frankly, and so much for the reset.
Right.
This is not boding well for the relationship between the U.S. and Russia, which was already not in a great place, judging by the reaction and back and forth in these different summits between President Obama and President Putin. This move, there were a lot of communications from everything we've heard to have Russia either send him back or to step out and not be a part of this, to do what they did. And by doing what they did, essentially they're saying, thumbing their nose at the U.S.
Are you hearing legitimate calls from people saying that the U.S. should boycott the G20 summit that's planned to be held in St. Petersburg? This will be the first time that Russia has hosted the G20 summit, and that would be a very, high-profile diplomatic slap in the face of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I mean, the White House was asked about that yesterday, and they did not commit. They said that we don't know if this is the right time to have a summit. And so, they're clearly considering that. The other thing that's interesting is that Russia plays a crucial role for the U.S. in a number of different theaters, namely Iran, North Korea, energy throughout Eastern Europe. So there's a lot of different ways that Russia is kind of intertwined in U.S. foreign policy. And so it'll be an interesting moment if the U.S. decides not to go to that summit in Russia.
I follow you on Twitter, and so I know that you have tweeted out this morning some new developments about the Benghazi case. A couple of things have happened. First of all, we find out there's a lot of people apparently were on the ground, either working for the agency or were contractors for the agency there. Still some questions about what they were doing. But one of the things that you are confirming, as well as other news organizations confirming, is that apparently the people who were there that night are being routinely polygraphed to find out who they're talking to, or to find out if they are talking to anyone about what happened that night. And you also have some details coming from Jen Griffin this morning.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me give another Griffin credit. Drew Griffin over at CNN did some great reporting, and it's great to have CNN in the mix. And this CBS has done some good Benghazi reporting. CNN is now doing some, and obviously we've done our fair share. Basically, the CIA had this major operation on the ground, and we've known that. Didn't know specific numbers, but dozens of people on the ground that night, possibly up to 40. And what exactly they were doing, we don't really know. There's a lot of speculating about arms trade and that sort of thing. But you're right. The interesting thing about it now is that anyone connected to Benghazi, we have from several sources up on Capitol Hill, that anyone in the CIA connected to Benghazi is getting polygraphed once a month at least, which is very rare, and sometimes even more frequently, to see if they've talked to the media or talked to people on Capitol Hill.
Why is that important?
Well, it just shows you the pressure that they're under to keep whatever was on the ground in Benghazi secret. We've also confirmed from Jennifer Griffin, who's our national security correspondent, that what Representative Wolf has been saying on the House floor, that survivors of this attack on the CIA side and others have been forced to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs.
But hold it. Here's my question, Bret. The president goes on speech after speech after speech after speech, and he talks about these are phony scandals. Well, if there's such phony scandals, and as the president is leading us to believe there's no there there, then why are they doing all these things to make it difficult to talk to the people who are on the ground? Why are they impeding the congressional investigation?
This is why we continue to ask questions. This is why we continue to do stories. This is why we continue to follow this story. And, there is a lot more there. The fact that you have Arwa Damon with CNN, who can speak to the head of Ansar al-Sharia in Benghazi, one of the guys on an FBI poster, where they say that he's behind the attack or one of the attackers for 2 hours. And the FBI has not gotten to him. And there's no indication that the investigation is really that active.
Well,
now,
because it may be that they don't want the FBI to know the answers of what really was going on there.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, as far as tracking down the guys responsible, it doesn't seem like it's happening.
No.
And one of the things that this comes to the question of how the administration is handling this attack, whether they're handling it like a terrorist attack and you would send in, special ops or a drone and you'd take out these guys, or you're handling it like a law enforcement situation, and that's where the FBI is leading the way.
All right. Bret Baier, we're going to have to leave it there. Although, one quick parting question. In Baltimore this weekend, they're hosting the Brony Convention. These are, of course, adult men who are obsessed with the My Little Pony cartoon.
What?
Don't pretend you've never heard of a brony, Bret Baier.
I have not.
Adult men who are fascinated with My Little Pony. If I were you, when you get back to these special report offices there, I think you should take a poll of the men who work at Fox News
Listen,
Channel.
I got a better idea. Take Griff Jenkins and assign him to that.
To the BronyCon in Baltimore. You got to be in touch with the people, Bret.
Is there something that you need to tell us, Larry?
Watching the morning unfold.
Have a nice weekend, Bret.
All right, see you later, Brett.